Dodge.
Secondhand smoke is bad for kids. Did you know that? I learned it in school. Even in big rooms, the cigarette smoke goes everywhere. And when you breathe it in, you could get asthma. That's the truth. It makes me really scared. Does it make you really scared?
Hi, I'm Damian Andrew. I grew up here in the Capital Region, and I'm glad to be back working in the place I call home. Just like you, I'm passionate about local sports, and that's why you can count on the Capital News 9 sports team to bring you the highlights, scores, and stories of your favorite hometown team. Sure, we'll get national, but we're about local sports, from racing at Saratoga to minor league baseball at the Joe. Capital News 9 Sports, we've got you covered.
Welcome back to the Pepsi Arena at the half. Niagara with a 41-38 lead, and now we can take a look at some of the individual and team leaders. First for Siena, and Antoine Jordan, who scored 8 quick points, finished with 10 in the first half. Michael Haddock scored 9, and then 3 players, as you see, with 4 apiece, and they are Tommy Mitchell, Prosper Karangwa, and Paul Williams. On the flip side, Tramel Darden with a hot hand. He scored 18 and is by far and away the top scorer. Mathis and Mendez with 5 points apiece. But where Mendez really shines is on the rebounding, where he has led individually Niagara to a 25-16 advantage. You see the advantage on the offensive glass, 14-9. That's far too many offensive rebounds for Siena to allow. And those rebounds have really been the product of the work of Juan Mendez. He has 9, 3 on the offense and 6 on the defense. Meanwhile, shooting percentages, you see Siena shooting pretty well, Niagara not quite as much. But by and large, it has been a close ball game from beginning to end. The turnovers, you see, pretty even. Everything about this game has been basically even so far, and it's not surprising as you take a look at the free throws that the score is pretty even. 41-38, our halftime score. We'll take a break, and when we come back, the start of the second half, Siena going to have to come from behind if it's going to protect its home floor against the Purple Eagles here at the Pepsi Arena.
What if you could create your own primetime lineup? What if you could record all your favorite shows automatically? What if you could pause live TV when the phone rings?
Put your TV on your schedule. Automatically record shows to watch them when you want. The new digital video recorder from Time Warner Cable. Available only with Time Warner Digital Cable. Call today and connect. 1-866-321-CABLE.
Catch Saints Alive this weekend on Time Warner Cable.
Grab a pen and get to Albany Dodge, because now you can sign and drive away happy. Lease a 2003 Durango with 40 to choose from for just $369 a month. Lease a roomy 2003 Caravan, 110 to choose from, $249 a month. Lease a rugged 2003 Ram Quad Cab 4x4, 100 to choose from, $339 a month. All backed with a 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain warranty. When you want selection this big, you've got to go to a dealer this big. Albany Dodge.
Banners hanging from the rafters here at the Pepsi Arena, the home of the Siena Saints, and first round of the NCAA tournament in 1999, and then also in 2002. Now they don't have all the banners from the previous generation.
Yeah, I know I'm a little biased, but how can you not have the banners up here?
I've always asked about that the banners from when the team played the majority of its games over in Loudonville are hanging from the Arc rafters, and those from when they've moved down here since the Paul Hewitt generation are hanging here. And I would think, although I know it's an expense to make 2 sets of banners, but you would think that you'd have all of them together in each arena with the NCAA and NIT banners all together as one.
Well, especially since every men's home game is played on this court. And they're hanging at the arc, which the men's teams that come in would never see those.
Well, the problem is also, if you bring those banners that exist at the arc over here, they'd be far too small. They don't look anything like the big ones that they put up here at the Pepsi, so I think you'd have to reorder and get new ones so that they would have some sort of consistency up there.
Which would be...
Having never priced a banner, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
3 NITs and an NCAA added to that.
That sounds right. I wouldn't fight you on that one, Tom.
Actually, it'd be 4. Yeah, 3 NITs and 1 NCAA, 4 total banners.
We are underway in the second half. The Purple Eagles with the ball to begin here in the second half. Alvin Cruz, James Reeves, Juan Mendez, Tremel Darden. And on the floor as the other starter, James Mathis for Niagara. Michael Haddix, Prosper Karangwa, Antoine Jordan, Justin Miller, and Tommy Mitchell for Siena. Purple Eagles get it inside, and Mendez lays it in.
Same starting lineups in the second half as we saw in the first half, and Siena double teams the ball, Alvin Cruz, and he's able to make a pass out of that double team, and the post-to-post feed right there, Reeves to Mendez for an easy bucket.
Mitchell in the corner, Siena down 43-38. This matches Niagara's largest lead. Prosper Karangwa steps in and knocks down the 3.
Welcome, Prosper Karangwa. Nice to see Prosper show up in the second half. He immediately gets off a quiet first half with a big shot, and hopefully that'll open up some things inside again for Siena.
Well, he just had 1 field goal and 2 free throws in the first half. Michael Haddix is called for the foul on the shot attempt by James Reeves. And so Haddix joins everybody else with 3 personal fouls, 18:46 to go.
Even Juan Mendez looks like he's laughing at that one. Can't quite tell from that angle, but it looked like, we know Michael Haddix had a lot of ball, but the referee said that he caught a little bit of elbow right there.
And so Reeves is at the line. His nickname is Mook, and I'm guessing the fans here are not from Niagara yelling Mook. They're booing that call. And so Rom Lanier continues to shuffle his deck. Reeves gets 1 out of 2. Karangwa tracks down the rebound. And Jamal Jackson has come in to run the point in place of
Antoine Jordan goes to the bench.
Antoine Jordan. So Karangwa moves to the 2. Haddix from the high post finds Mitchell. There's that inside-outside that gets you a good look. Unable to bury it, though. Alvin Cruz quickly the other way. Leaves it for Darden. He missed it. Mendez picks up another offensive rebound and puts it home. That's 10 rebounds for Mendez and 9 points. Nearly another double-double. And again, another turnover.
And we see the missed shot at the offensive end for Siena, and Niagara just busting out in transition, putting pressure on Siena to get back defensively in transition. They're able to come up with a big offensive rebound, and when Siena tries to put that type of pressure on Niagara simply to get back defensively, they turn the ball over.
Steal by Tommy Mitchell with Jamal Jackson. And a pick and roll. 2 minutes into the second half, pulls Siena back within 3, 46-43.
Well, the one thing, Jamal Jackson is really struggling shooting the basketball, especially in the half court. But the one thing he's very good at is finishing in transition. He showed it right there. Looked like Darden was sizing him up to possibly go for a block shot, but he never left his feet, and Jamal Jackson able to get a layup.
And as action continues, Mendez with the layup for Niagara to once again make it a 5-point Niagara lead. Mendez now in double figures with points as well. 11 points, 10 rebounds, and another Saints turnover. As Darden with it. Cruz is fouled by Jackson. Non-shooting foul. First on Jackson, number 2 against Siena here in the second half. The Saints down 48-43, 17-17 to go in the second.
Yeah, we spoke of how valuable the big 3 for Niagara are, Darden, Reeves, and Mendez. Probably the guy that really makes them go is Alvin Cruz, their sophomore point guard. They can ill afford to lose him. He's having a very good season for Niagara.
Paul Williams gathers in the pass. Has a shot blocked by Reeves. Mendez comes down with it. Cruz quick up ahead for Reeves, had it go through his hands out of bounds, and it'll be Siena ball. A little sloppy here in the second half.
Well, we saw really in one play what Paul Williams is all about. He's athletic enough to beat everyone down the floor, athletic enough to go up and get a long pass from one of his guards, but then not quite physically strong enough to finish in traffic when he's being bodied up by a defender.
Austin Andrews has come in for Siena. Jamal Jackson is out.
Niagara continues to stay in their 2-3 zone.
Miller tried the quick pass, but it was deflected and then stolen by Mendez. So after a cleanly played first half where turnovers were not a problem, they are mounting here in the second half. And Reeves picks up his 4th personal foul.
We've really had some ticky-tack fouls down on that block. Firstly, Michael Haddock's 3rd personal foul on the block shot attempt against James Reeves, and right there, that over-the-back call, Reeves being called for over-the-back on Prosper Carangua.
And a timeout called by Siena. Reeves now has to go back to the bench, having played only 11.5 minutes. He's got 4 fouls.
Well, Niagara's still up by 5, so it hasn't hurt him too much.
Good look at Gunta Bosco, the star senior for the Siena women's basketball team. And I can tell you she hates being the center of attention right now. Look at her blush. She absolutely hates, and you'd think for a basketball player of her stature and ability who has had a bobblehead doll fashioned after her, she would embrace it a little bit more, but she just absolutely shies away from the spotlight.
And like you said, for as good as she is, she gets a lot of attention. Maybe not always on camera, but definitely by opposing teams.
Well, fans, it's not too early to start thinking about the Capital Region's premier golf tournament, the Saints Alive Shootout. This annual event will be held on June 23rd at Shaker Ridge Country Club in Loudonville. This year's shootout figures to again sell out, so make your plans today by visiting SienaSaints.com or calling Siena Athletics at area code 518-783-2450. And that's a nice thought, but I'm telling you, golf is the last thing on my mind with how many feet of snow we've got outside.
Yeah, we have to have close to 3.5, 4 feet on the ground. I know we do up at my house. You enjoy those mornings when you have to get up at 6 a.m. and go out and crank up the old snowblower.
Man. Well, we've yet to get the official attendance here this evening for the Siena-Niagara game, but as we said, as MAC regular season games go, this is about as big as we will see this year, and pretty good numbers have come out in spite of all the cold and snow. See Matt Grass, former Siena player, in the lower right-hand corner of your screen there. Always a lot of former Siena stars in the stands. We've spotted Corey Osinski. We've spotted Matt Grass, obviously. Andy Grazoulis we've seen.
And Matt's in the front row. He's big enough to see over the team still.
And, of course, Tom Herter sitting next to me. Tommy Mitchell, count the basket at 1.
A little assistance right there to make that shot. Looked like the ball was blocked into the backboard and goes in. Good transition opportunity. Tommy Mitchell showing some athleticism right there, able to go by the defender with a dribble drive along the baseline. And after missing his first 6 field goal attempts, Tommy is able to get that one to go. So he had 4 free throws, and now the bucket. And the three-point play pulls Siena back within 2, 48-46, 16:22 left to go in the second half. Well, this game has gone back and forth, especially in the first half, and Siena has not had the lead for about 8 minutes on the game clock, so they're looking to try to stop here and possibly take over the lead, get over the hump, so to speak, lately. Alvin Cruz guarded in the backcourt by Prosper Carangua, who, like his uniform number 3, is playing with 3 fouls. Justin Miller steps out on Mendez. David Brooks pulls up on Jordan. And Carangua comes down to pick off that defensive rebound from Mendez and will dribble up himself. Prosper a little more active in the second half for Siena, as evidenced by that rebound. Jordan's pass deflected and stolen away. Cruz gives it back to the man who had the steal, David Brooks, and a big turnaround right there. A 3-pointer by Brooks makes it a 5-point Niagara lead. Seems like every time Siena turns the ball over or misses a deep shot attempt, Niagara is able to get a good look in transition, and Brooks able to capitalize off the penetration by Alvin Cruz.
Austin Andrews from the corner, nothing but net.
Nice answer by the junior. Austin Andrews went to the bench from the starting lineup in lieu of Antoine Jordan, but the one thing he continues to bring to this team, which is a valuable asset considering their post presence, is that three-point shooting.
And he certainly makes the defense have to play him honest. He's at 42% outside the arc so far this season.
Only the second three-point shot made by the Saints in this game.
Whistle and a foul on Tommy Mitchell, trying to play defense on Tremel Darden, and we talked about that matchup. Darden does have the advantage in height and size, but clearly the two best pure athletes on the court going head-to-head.
Well, Darden's a guy at 6'4" that played the post when he was in high school, so he's a guy that's probably used to posting up. His perimeter game is what's developing as he gets older in college.
14:57 left to go here in the second half. 51-49, Niagara with the lead. We'll be right back to the Pepsi Arena.
Only one team will be called the MAC champion. Only one team will earn an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. The 2003 EUS Communications MAC Basketball Championship comes to the Sovereign Bank Arena in Trenton, March 6th through 10th. 10 schools from the MAC will battle for men's and women's titles. Individual tickets on sale now. Don't miss the chance to root for your favorite team. All session passes and individual tickets on sale at the box office and all Ticketmaster outlets. Call now.
Will you be there when the nets come down?
Grab a pen and get to Albany Dodge because now you can sign and drive away happy. Lease a 2003 Durango with 40 to choose from for just $369 a month. Lease a roomy 2003 Caravan, 110 to choose from, $249 a month. Lease a rugged 2003 Ram Quad Cab 4x4, 100 to choose from, $339 a month. All backed with a 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain warranty. When you want selection this big, you've got to go to a dealer this big. Albany Dodge.
It's a meeting of the minds. Masterminds. Join us weekly on Time Warner Cable as the Capital Region's brightest young high school scholars compete in a battle royale of the mind.
Koksaki, Ashley.
Brandy.
Brandy is correct.
Masterminds, where scholars shine bright.
Fred, your team's answer? Mars and Venus. Mars and Venus are both correct.
Masterminds. Only on Time Warner Cable. Channel 2 in Albany and Troy, Channel 14 in surrounding areas.
Niagara 51, Siena 49. Doug Sherman along with Tom Herter. And again, the rebounding margin way in favor of the Purple Eagles, 29-19. And if the Saints are going to retake the lead and pull this one out, they're going to have to stop the bleeding on the rebounding front. Inbound comes to Tremel Darden. Tom, during the break, you and I were talking about shooting styles, and I find it interesting. You work with the youth and with AAU programs, and you're around the Siena program quite a lot, and we do see shots that are certainly not textbook. How much can you get a college athlete or a high school athlete to change the shot that they've been doing in this day and age that they've been doing for years?
Well, I think you can, and only because when you're either a high school coach or a college coach, you're working with those kids every single day. You have them for probably 2.5 hours. You may even have them for individual play for a length of time as we see the replay. Tremel Darden really forcing the issue right there. Antoine Jordan, maybe his arms were extended, and that's what the foul was called on. But if he just has his arms straight up, maybe there's an offensive foul. But back to shooting, I think if you have a kid for that long, you really need to work on the mechanics of a shot and what is a good shot. And the reference point that I have, Mike Dean, when Mark Brown stepped onto campus, he had as about an ugly a push shot as you could possibly have. And he left Siena 4 years later with a great shot. And, he scores over 2,300 points in his career, so he did pretty well shooting the basketball.
Foul, and Mitchell will go to the line, and if it's on Mendez, and it is, that is number 4. So Mendez and Reeves now have 4 apiece, and Mendez is waving to Coach Mihalik saying, don't take me out, leave me in, but Mihalik really doesn't have anywhere to go.
I think the entire Siena crowd is waving the same thing because they want to see him get the 4th. And Tommy Mitchell, just the athletic ability of some of these players. Tommy right there, that could have easily been a charge call, which is his ability to elevate and slide to the side of the defender to draw that blocking call instead of a charge call. And Mendez, even though he didn't want to go to the bench, he will go to the bench. Probably a smart move for Joe Mihalik. 14.5 minutes left in this game. That's an eternity, and you do not want to have Mendez foul out with a lot of time left on the clock.
And I believe that Bob Madigan, the official who made that call, has, if not issued a formal warning, let Joe Mihalik know that he's heard enough right there. Tommy Mitchell hits pair. He's got 9, and Siena's back within a point. 14:29 left to go.
There's been a lot of foul calls on both teams. The problem is Niagara really, it's condensed to about 6 players for them. And their 2 starting post players have 4, whereas Siena goes 9, 10 deep. They can spread those fouls out a little better.
Alvin Cruz dishes to the baseline, and a nice move by Mathis for 2.
Nice finish. And again, penetration by Cruz.
14:03 left to go second half. Siena down 3 with the basketball, and there is Joe Mihalik, who has been extremely demonstrative. And on that last set, you may have heard the crowd's reaction to Joe after Justin Miller and one of the Niagara players got tangled up. He wanted to foul the other way. Karangwa missed it. Jordan tracks it down. That's a 2-point attempt, and Brooks clears the rebound for Niagara. Alvin Cruz back to Brooks. Open look from the wing. Nothing but net. It's a 6-point Niagara lead, 57-51.
Just when you think Siena should have a distinct advantage, somehow Niagara comes up with a rebound and they get a look in transition. Someone for Siena lost David Brooks. He gets another open look from 3.
Austin Andrews answers right back for 3. 8 for Austin Andrews, and Siena's back within 3.
Big answer right there, because Siena wants to continue to get the ball inside, and Austin is able to just square up. Textbook form by Austin Andrews. He really has great form, and he's able to knock down a big 3. Siena now 3 out of 5 in the second half from the 3-point line.
Alvin Cruz, nice move to 3 for Brooks. Can't make it 2 in a row. Ball going toward the sideline, saved by Mathis. And here comes Karangwa. Up ahead to Jordan, and he was fouled by Cruz. Jordan will go to the line to shoot 2. Alvin Cruz with his first foul. He's about the only one who hadn't picked up a foul until now.
And the freshman sneaking out right there for Siena. Big loose ball pickup by Siena. I mentioned in the first half, it seemed like 2 or 3 loose basketballs. Siena was trying to make the next play, whether it be pass it or dribble the ball instead of just grab it. And the junior, Austin Andrews, comes up with a big play, just grabbing that loose basketball, getting the outlet to Prosper Karangwa, who looks up court and finds the freshman Antoine Jordan, who's had a big game so far for Siena.
He's got 10 points, make it 11. And Siena has had tremendous balance tonight. He's got 11, Mitchell 9, Haddix 9, Andrews 8, Karangwa 7. Jamel Darden back in. Mathis goes out for the Purple Eagles. And also Barry DeRozier. I guess DeRozier has come in place of Mathis. Rebound goes out of bounds, and it's Niagara basketball. Purple Eagles get it up to 57-55.
Be interesting to see how Siena defends the Niagara Purple Eagles, as they have Austin Andrews playing the 4 position. He's really played the small forward a lot, so Siena goes smaller as Niagara has, with Brent Sneezik in the middle.
And Andrews, in spite of his 6'9" size, is not much of a presence on the glass. So clearly Sneezik is the guy in the paint right now. But again, the 2 top rebounders in the league for Niagara are out of the game with 4 fouls each. Jamel Darden fouled, and he will shoot 2. Tommy Mitchell picks up the personal, and for Tommy Mitchell, that's his 3rd. And team foul number 5 against the Saints. There you see it, the hand on the elbow, and Mitchell gets called for it. And so Darden goes back to the line where he has spent a good chunk of the evening. He is 7 for 7, now make it 7 out of 8. Quite a lot of his damage has been done at the line. He's got 19 points to lead all scorers.
Let's go, White.
0 for 2 from the line, and Karangwa with a defensive rebound. Karangwa strong to the basket. Almost as though he willed that one in. He was not going to be denied, and we're tied at 57 apiece.
Nice to see that attitude by the senior right there. And right now with the foul trouble of Niagara big men, you have to take it right to him, as DeWitt does not want to foul Carangua, and he knows that, goes right at him and aggressively finishes that play.
Reminiscent of a Dwayne Archbold possession last year from time to time. Brooks misfires. Andrews with the rebound, handing off to Mitchell. Niagara back defensively, and Mitchell lost it on the dribble out of bounds. It goes back over to the Purple Eagles. We have an officials timeout with the Bluebirds out in force here at the Pepsi Arena. We take another look as we go to break. Siena has tied the game 57-57 with Niagara.
Grab a pen and get to Albany Dodge, because now you can sign and drive away happy. Lease a 2003 Durango with 40 to choose from for just $369 a month. Lease a roomy 2003 Caravan, 110 to choose from, $249 a month. Lease a rugged 2003 Ram Quad Cab 4x4, 100 to choose from, $339 a month. All backed with a 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain warranty. When you want selection this big, you've got to go to a dealer this big. Albany Dodge.
Hey fans, are you sporting? Well, you will be, because Sport Beer has arrived. A premium lager, Sport Beer is perfect to have, whether you're at the big game or just kicking back with a cold one. The best thing about Sport Beer is when you're sporting, you're supporting youth athletic. That's because a portion of all proceeds is donated to amateur programs. So next time you're looking for a cold one, ask for a Sport Beer and start sporting.
Kiss me, baby.
What are you doing? I'm getting rid of these monsters. Bob's Pet Choir. I'm selling them on an internet auction site. I've got to upload all these shots before he wakes up.
Roadrunner High Speed Online makes auctions easy. Download dozens of pictures in seconds. Whether you're buying or selling, exceed your speed with Roadrunner High Speed Online. Call 1-800-ROADRUNNER today to get Roadrunner installed free and $10 off your first 3 months.
And tonight's attendance is
6,647. The Saints thank you.
What was it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Thank you. Niagara 57, Siena 57. 6,647 fans here in attendance tonight at the Pepsi. 66-47. Cruz able to get away from the double team. DeRozier had it stripped away, and a jump ball called. Austin Andrews with the quick hands, and the possession arrow gives the ball over to Siena. The Saints with a chance to retake the lead for the first time since the first half.
And talk about first times, we see Siena going to a half-court trap. We have not seen them do that almost the entire season, and they get a turnover because of it. It was a held ball situation, but it almost looked like it could have been a steal by the Saints. Good defensive set to come out of that timeout and go to an aggressive style to get a turnover.
Carangua, Andrews, Mitchell, Haddix, and Jordan on the floor for the Saints. Carangua along the baseline, finds Jordan spotting up. On the penetration, he uses the window, and Siena has retaken the lead, 59-57.
That in-between game, the medium-range game where you're driving to the basket, the flip shot off the backboard, Antoine Jordan has become very good at that. It's a nice dimension for this team.
Alvin Cruz still with the dribble, and he's called for the travel. James Mathis comes back in, and DeRozier goes out. So Siena up 2 gets the ball back.
Well, now it comes down to execution. Siena just needs to continue to execute. What has been successful for them in this half has either been transition opportunities or getting the basketball into the paint, attacking the glass. They need to continue to do that, even if Niagara comes out with a trapping type of defense, which they have.
Meanwhile, Tom, how much longer do you think we will see Mendez and Reeves on the bench with their 4 fouls apiece? How long till Coach Mihalik goes back to one or both?
Well, I think if Siena is able to make a run, most likely we will see those players around the 8-minute mark. And Siena now has scored 6 straight points to take a 4-point lead, their largest since the first couple minutes of the game.
Tommy Mitchell now with 11. Loose ball on the floor and a jump ball, and the Purple Eagles will keep it. And almost as if on cue, Reeves and Mendez get off the bench and will come back in for Niagara at 10:02. So lots of time to go for each of those two guys who are physical presence. And Justin Miller comes back in, but a lot of time for those guys to try and protect their own eligibility on this in this game. They don't foul out.
Maybe the momentum swing in Siena's favor was a little bit too much, and Joe Mihalik wanted to go back to his strengths, which are those two players. James Reeves really has not gotten into the flow for Niagara, only playing 12 minutes so far in the game. Mendez has played a little bit more, but Reeves is a guy that you would expect could pick up a foul earlier just because he hasn't been able to get into any type of flow in this game.
Well, if for nothing else, Reeves should be extremely fresh. Big number 53 in purple, shot clock down to 6. Cruz is fouled by Haddix, who is stepping out to try and help, and he picks up the personal with only about 6 seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, freshman mistake right there, because Siena loves to hedge on those ball screens, especially out near the three-point line, and he needs to get out there before Cruz comes off that screen instead of stepping out too late like he did right there.
And instead, Haddix goes to the bench with 4 personal fouls. Brent Sneesick comes back in. Cruz, Brooks, Darden, Mendez, and Reeves, the primary 5 for Niagara. Starting 4, and then also Brooks, who is, as we talked about earlier, clearly one of the top players. Mendez gets the air ball from Reeves and lays it in. 61-59, Siena's lead back down to 2.
Another offensive rebound for Mendez. That is his 6th this game.
Mitchell, Karangwa, Jordan, Sneesick, and Miller on the floor for the Saints. Tommy Mitchell spots up and connects. Mike Dean used to say shot ready. He was shot ready right there.
Ready, shoot basketball, and he stepped into that nicely. Textbook jump shot basketball by Tommy Mitchell. And a lot of times when you have athletes, you don't necessarily get that good looking form.
Miller and Mendez had locked arms. And there's going to be no call. The two of them were locked up. They both went down hard. And the officials say no call.
Well, that's a smart play because it was really a double foul at this point in the game. Why call either one?
Miller pulls it back out to Karangwa. Big up fake. Kick it to Mitchell, trying for 2 in a row. He did. It's a 6-point Siena lead, 67-61.
Credit to senior Prosper Karangwa. Good job of penetrating and kicking out. He gets it to the guy who's got the hot hand. Tommy Mitchell steps into another textbook form shot right there.
8:20 on the clock. Pass inside to Mendez, just out of his reach and off his fingertips out of bounds. And a timeout called by the Purple Eagles.
Largest lead for Siena right now, 6 points since they had a 10-4 lead early on. And Siena's been able to swing the momentum. At one point, Niagara had the lead 57-55. Siena's going on a 12-4 run to take this lead.
And Niagara coach Joe Mihalik, as you saw, working 2 of the officials, Kenneth Clark and William Bush, again trying to get a call. Meanwhile, at the other end, Tommy Mitchell has been the man with a hot hand with the consecutive 3s to give Siena the 6-point lead. And as you said, Tom, the biggest of the game so far for the green and gold.
Yeah, it's always better if you're a shooter to get 3-point opportunities stepping into a shot. And with the penetration, the pass is coming from the paint. Tommy Mitchell is able to step into that 3-point shot. A shooter's going to shoot a better percentage when they're able to step into that shot instead of catching from the perimeter where the momentum may not be taking them to the basket.
Pressure by the Purple Eagles. Karangwa dribbles against Cruz. Look away pass to Sneesick, who is standing all by his lonesome in the corner, and the pressure is broken. Mitchell will direct traffic.
I'm sure even with James Reeves' size, he was kind of hoping Brent Sneesick didn't take one power dribble and try to go up on him.
Jordan traveled off of the up fake in the corner. The Saints turn it back over to the Purple Eagles. And with 7:53 on the clock, we have ourselves an officials timeout. At the Pepsi, will step away with Siena holding on to a 67-61 lead.
Catch Saints Alive this weekend on Time Warner Cable.
Grab a pen and get to Albany Dodge because now you can sign and drive away happy. Lease a 2003 Durango with 40 to choose from for just $369 a month. Lease a roomy 2003 Caravan, 110 to choose from, $249 a month. Lease a rugged 2003 Ram Quad Cab 4x4, 100 to choose from, $339 a month. All backed with a 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain warranty. When you want selection this big, you've got to go to a dealer this big. Albany Dodge.
Only one team will be called the MAC champion. Only one team will earn an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. The 2003 EUS Communications MAC Basketball Championship comes to the Sovereign Bank Arena in Trenton, March 6th through 10th. 10 schools from the MAC will battle for men's and women's titles. All session passes are just $75, and the only way to lock up the best seats to all tournament games. All session passes on sale at the box office and all Ticketmaster outlets. Call now.
Will you be there when the nets come down?
7 minutes, 53 seconds left in regulation. Siena with a 67-61 Siena lead.
Tommy Mitchell with 8 straight points for Siena to help them with this run. And Siena's taken a very important 6-point lead as we get down to crunch time. 8 minutes to go in this basketball game. We'll see how tight things get. Decent crowd on hand for Siena. They've been vocal. I think that's helped the Saints.
Again, over 6,600 here at the Pepsi. Tremel Darden, who was hot in the first half, continues to be cold in the second half. Brooks the last to touch, and it'll go back over to the Saints.
Whenever momentum swings your way, it seems like things seem to fall your way. And just when the ball was going to go out of bounds off Antoine Jordan, Brooks gets his hand on it. Siena retains possession. Tough shot by Tremel Darden. One of the few times he's taken a poor shot from about 15 feet, really forced the issue.
And you know, Tom, here in the second half, Siena is 10 of 14 from the floor, shooting 71% since the intermission. Foul on the shot, and Prosper Karangwa will go to the line to shoot 3.
Just when you said the 10 for 14 for the second half, most of those good shots within the offense, and that's probably one of the few forced shots of Siena in the second half, but they get bailed out with the foul call. Prosper will go to the line for 3 shots.
That's just the 5th team foul against Niagara here in the second half. Kind of been a role reversal first half to second half. We didn't have many turnovers in the first half, but plenty of fouls here in the second half. A lot of turnovers, not nearly as many fouls.
Siena still looking upward as far as the rebounding advantage for Niagara. 33-24. Niagara leading that edge, leading the rebounding battle.
Juan Mendez single-handedly has controlled the boards. He has 13 points, 13 rebounds, including 6 on the offensive glass.
And he really hasn't shown what he can do on the low block. Niagara has not been able to get him the ball on the low block. He's hit some 15-footers, looked good there. He's got nice form, nice touch. But he also is a very good low post player. He's just so strong and athletic.
Karangwa missed the 3rd. He's able to track it down, finds Sneezik, who kicks it out to Jordan. Open for 3. And Darden the rebound. Siena by 8, its biggest lead of the game, 69-61. James Reeves misses. Cruz gets the long rebound. The runner from the baseline rims out. Darden puts it back in, and we wind up with Brent Sneezik holding his head on the floor. 4 players on the ground. Reeves, Mendez, Miller, and Sneezik, but it's Sneezik who seemed to take the worst of it, and he continues to lay prone on the hardwood.
I can hear that bang from here, and I think that that loud sound was Brent Sneezik's head on the floor.
And the 4 of them went down pretty much arm in arm in arm. And like you said and like you heard, Sneezik clearly took the worst of it.
Hard to choose one guy that you could call a foul on that one, because it seemed like of the 4 players, the biggest 4 on either team, Reeves, Sneezik, Miller, and Mendez, all of them had their arms intertwined, trying to throw each other backwards on the rebound attempt.
Well, Mendez, who is 1 for 2 so far tonight. It's the first. That was the 7th team foul against Siena.
Well, if you think recruiting is all skill and analyzation of great high school talents, Mendez, a guy who came in a package deal. Niagara signed Cruz, the point guard, And Cruz, when he came up, said, I think you should look at my teammate. He's a pretty good power forward, and Niagara falls into probably an all-league performer for them this season. Mendez just a sophomore.
No doubt about it. A couple of kids from Puerto Rico who played their high school ball in South Florida. And you talked about Tramel Darden coming to Niagara from Las Vegas. How on earth do a couple of kids from Puerto Rico wind up in Western New York? But again, give Joe Mihalik credit. He's able to get them there. Shot clock to 6. Mitchell finds himself alone. And the sophomore from Tyler, Texas continues to light it up. That's 20 points for Tommy Mitchell. It's a 72-63 Siena lead.
20 points, 11 of those over the last 3 minutes of this game. Big reason why Siena has the lead like they did.
Mendez misses on a quick shot, and he backed away, leaving Niagara with very little rebounding presence, and so Siena with another possession. Jordan tries to pass off, gets it to Sneezen. Here's Mitchell, and the runner is off the mark. This ball comes back out to Mitchell, and Rob Lanier wants a timeout. Well, we're in the first half. Those loose balls were being grabbed by Niagara. We see more of them going into the hands of the Saints here in the second half.
It's amazing how momentum can swing, and when momentum swings, it seems like every loose ball goes to the team with that advantage. And Siena right now with momentum in their favor, and the loose balls off the long rebound seem to be falling in their hands, and the loose ball at the defensive end seem to be going out of bounds off of the Niagara players. Siena just hopes that they can sustain this momentum for the rest of the game. 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Niagara still has their best players in the game. We haven't seen anyone foul out. This has been a very physical game, but you have to think Siena has the lead right now because of the three-point shooting of Tommy Mitchell. In a game that's been advantage Niagara in the post, Siena has made up for in the second half with some streaky shooting by their sophomore guard.
Again, to reset, before this game, Siena trailed Niagara by 1 game in the standings. The Purple Eagles and Iona Gales share third place behind Manhattan and Fairfield. Siena with a win would pull into a tie with Niagara, and through the tiebreaker system, Siena would move ahead for the possible seedings. Still plenty of time to go, though, with a couple of weeks for that to change. But and you were telling me, Tom, and you've done more math than I have. You went to Siena, I went to Syracuse, so I can't figure this stuff out. Jordan missed it. Haddix with the rebound. Haddix again, and he's tied up by Reeves, and we've got a reach-in foul.
Michael Haddix doing layman's work on the glass right there. Just somehow the ball seems to come right to him. Even in traffic, he's just so strong. Great hands, able to grab that. And luckily for Niagara, that's on the freshman, Mathis.
That's his third. But you were saying in doing your math, Siena, you would think they have a pretty good shot at least staying in the middle of the pack, but you said it's not inconceivable. Mathematically, they could still finish anywhere between 1st and 9th, you said?
1st and 9th, because the 9th place team, Canisius, has 10 losses, and if Siena were to lose all 4 of their remaining games, they could fall into a tie with Canisius, and who knows, with all the tiebreakers that can happen, what would transpire there.
Yeah. Tommy Mitchell uses a timeout. The Niagara defense coming out of that last timeout clearly stepped up, and so Rob Lanier burns another timeout with 5:19 to go. I should say Rob Lanier's club. I don't know if he was calling for that from the sideline, but Tommy Mitchell was the one who went for it. All right, Siena basketball is proud to present Travelin' to Trenton following the men's basketball season finale versus St. Peter's on March the 1st. Come cheer on both the men's and women's teams in their final public appearance before the MAC Championship tournament gets underway. It will be held at Wolfert's Roost and features coaches Gina Castelli and Rob Lanier having comments with the dinner. Help send the Saints to Trenton on a winning note by calling Siena Athletics at 518-783-2450 to reserve your spot today. Is that Frank Dyer? Frankie D, former Siena star from back when they moved to Division I.
Drinking a beer. And you were talking about technical fouls before a game for dunking with Ellerby of Marist. I think the last time Siena had a technical foul before a game for dunking in warm-ups, it was Frankie Dyer.
Oh, really? Karangwa steps up. He's got 14 points, and now Siena with a 75-63 lead, 5 minutes to go.
And who would have thought, but they've done it with three-point shooting. Prosper hitting a big one right there. See the replay. A talented player able to come off the screen and immediately elevate and knock down a big one.
And so now this is critical time for Niagara. This was a nip-and-tuck game throughout, and this is the biggest lead. Haddix kicked the ball with 7 seconds on the shot clock, and so they'll reset it. And Niagara gets it back with 4:39 on the clock.
And we mentioned Siena's gotten their lead because of their three-point shooting, but credit the defense as well. It seemed like Niagara was able to get to the line in the first half because they were attacking the lane. The opportunities in the paint for Niagara in the second half have been far fewer than the first half, and you see right there that last play. Michael Haddix with good help defense and really a collapsing defense by Siena.
Mendez missed the turnaround. Darden like a cat after the rebound, and then a whistle and a foul against, I believe, Michael Haddix. And for Michael Haddix, that is...
I believe it's on Tommy Mitchell.
Going against Mitchell, thank you. So
Reaching
Tommy
from
Mitchell
behind.
gets his fourth. Haddix will stay in the game with his 4. And still, it's amazing that with all the foul trouble we had at halftime, we have not seen more guys foul out. Mitchell, who has had the hot hand and led this Siena surge, goes out. He now has 20 points, and there's the foul given by Mitchell. Saw him grab a piece of Darden's left forearm. And so Darden, who was the story in the first half but has been quiet in the second half, gets his 20th point. Well, at halftime, Darden had 18, and so far here in the second half time, just a couple of free throws.
Well, not that anything is easy, especially scoring 20 points, but your chances are definitely enhanced when you score 10 of those from the line, and Tremel Darden has lived at the line in this game for the Purple Eagles.
It's a 10-point Siena lead. There's the foul against Darden.
Seemed like a matter of time right there.
That's the 7th team foul against Niagara, so a 1-and-1 for Karangwa. And just the first on Tremel Darden.
And the senior Prosper Karangwa quiet in the first half. As a little bit of contact right there in the replay. Nothing called, but then Darden right back at it, goes for the reach. Probably the only reason they didn't call the first contact is because Darden did not reach out with his hands. But Prosper, quiet in the first half. He has come alive in the second half and been a big part of this resurgence, whether it be scoring points himself or he's been the guy that's distributed the ball to Tommy Mitchell for some big shots.
The 2-time member of Team Canada, nearing his season average. He now has 16 points. He averages 16.7 per game. And Siena's lead back up to 12. That matches their largest of the night. Lob into Mendez, who draws a brief double team. Instead, he crosses court to Cruz, who misfired. Mendez, though, tracks down another offensive rebound. And with under 4 minutes to go, Niagara resets. Reeves' pass deflected away. Karangwa comes up with it for Siena.
Good hands by the freshman Michael Haddix on that post-entry attempt by James Reeves. Again, Siena tightening up their defense. They've got some good stops, which has aided in this run.
Haddix with good position inside, but missed. Andrews with the tip. Austin Andrews has been a spark off the bench. He's got 10 points. 79-65, Siena's biggest lead, now 14.
The 4th player to get into double figures for Siena. And Austin Andrews, uncharacteristically, getting it done on the glass for that offensive putback.
That ball went off the hands of Mendez out of bounds, and we've got a break in the action. Timeout on the floor with Siena on top by 14 here at the Pepsi Arena.
Grab a pen and get to Albany Dodge because now you can sign and drive away happy. Lease a 2003 Durango with 40 to choose from for just $369 a month. Lease a roomy 2003 Caravan, 110 to choose from, $249 a month. Lease a rugged 2003 Ram Quad Cab 4x4, 100 to choose from, $339 a month. All backed with a 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain warranty. When you want selection this big, you've got to go to a dealer this big. Albany Dodge.
Secondhand smoke is bad for kids. Did you know that? I learned it in school. Even in big rooms, the cigarette smoke goes everywhere. And when you breathe it in, you could get asthma. That's the truth. It makes me really scared. Does it make you really scared?
Hi, I'm Damian Andrew. I grew up here in the Capital Region, and I'm glad to be back working in the place I call home. Just like you, I'm passionate about local sports, and that's why you can count on the Capital News 9 sports team to bring you the highlights, scores, and stories of your favorite hometown team. We'll give you the national stuff too, but we're about local sports, from racing at Saratoga to minor league baseball at the Joe. Capital News 9 Sports, we've got you covered.
Siena 79, Niagara 65 here at Pepsi Arena. Coach Rob Lanier said before the game that he felt as much as anything he wanted his club to reestablish a home court advantage. And here in this stretch run of the second half, they have seemingly done that, although Niagara certainly not out of it. There are several Purple Eagle players who say this is their favorite home away from home. They love playing on this court. They've had some epic battles. Last year's MAC tournament, the championship game, the year before that, earlier in the tournament, or 2 years rather before that, earlier in the tournament. And so the Purple Eagles certainly have the weapons to get this thing whittled back down. Under 3 minutes to play.
Well, it's also not surprising if you look at last year's games for Niagara. The two largest attendances they played in front of were at the Pepsi Arena. Regular season against Siena, and of course that MAC championship you just mentioned.
Antoine Jordan. Siena continues to be lights out in the second half, over 60% from the floor in the second half.
And almost as impressive is the offensive execution right there. Siena got exactly the shot they wanted. Antoine Jordan, a 15-footer off a one-dribble curl. Siena gets an open shot in a basketball game where they're trying to close out with a substantial lead.
Alvin Cruz off the up fake, the runner off the mark, and Justin Miller rips the rebound. Now you look at Miller's stat line, it's not going to blow you away, but you like some of the things you've seen from him tonight.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job on Juan Mendez. Simply from the, Mendez still has great numbers. He's got 15 and 14, but Mendez has not killed Siena on the low block, either getting great position for easy buckets or simple turnaround jump shots. That has been his game throughout the season. Justin's done a good job of really, keeping him, from going off, so to speak, because Niagara really looks for Mendez, especially when they're not shooting the ball from the perimeter very well. And with Reeves on the bench, he's their only post presence as far as an offensive player, and Justin's done a solid job on him, just battling and, keeping him off of the good offensive position.
Miller has played 34 minutes and has 3 points and 3 rebounds. But like you said, he's done a real good job of keeping Mendez busy, particularly in the second half. Karangwa with the free throw, and now Michael Berman comes into the game for Siena. Only the second time this season we have seen the man they call Berm, Big Berm, 6'9" senior from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Certainly the people's choice here at the Pepsi Arena.
Yeah, for good reason. He's been through so many injuries. He's just a hard worker and a great kid, more importantly. He's going to graduate on time, and he always shows up and gives whatever he can, and unfortunately for him, he's had a lot of injuries. I'll never forget some games Michael's had. 7 charges taken in one game. Against Canisius. The big tip-in his freshman year against UMass to win that basketball game.
Yep. There was a lane violation against Brooks, so Karangwa gets another chance and capitalizes on it. He's got 18 points. Mitchell leads the way with 20. Karangwa has 18. Antoine Jordan 15 and Austin Andrews 10, and now Miller is whistled for the foul. Again, that matchup that has been so central to the way the game has gone, and Mendez will go to the line. On Justin Miller, that's number 4, and so Mendez goes to the stripe. Mendez last year made the all-rookie team. He was the MAC 6th man of the year. He's 4th in the league in scoring, 1st in rebounding, 2nd in field goal percentage. And like you said, he's gotten his numbers, but the early foul trouble against both him and James Mook Reeves has hampered Niagara here tonight. Darden out, DeRozier in. Reeves also goes out, and Mathis will come back in.
And that point by Mendez broke an 8-0 run by Siena, and over a 2.5-minute drought for Niagara. And at that point, it was a a 10-point game, and Siena has extended that 10-point lead now at 16.
83-67. Siena trailed at halftime, 41-38. The Saints retook the lead 9 minutes into the second half at 59-57. And then they have just run away from the Purple Eagles over the last 8-9 minutes.
Well, one thing Siena did not do in the second half was allow Niagara to score at will and put huge numbers on the board in the scoring column. Their last 2 losses at home in MAC games, they gave up 58 and 61 points in the second half.
Yeah.
And they did a much better job defensively against a, almost a high-octane offense of Niagara, a team that can really get out in transition and score inside on them.
Foul number 5 on DeWitt. He is fouled out. Niagara coming in led the MAC in field goal percentage at 46%. And here this evening, they have been a shade under 40%. Now Gary Holly Jr. will come in and replace Justin Miller. So all of Siena's available scholarship players have now gotten into this one. Where at Georgetown 10 minutes ago, you wouldn't have thought we'd seen that. It was just going to go right down to the wire. It just looked like it was going to be one of those typical Siena-Niagara games on a last-second shot.
It was a back-and-forth basketball game until Siena, right around that 10-minute mark, with Reeves and Mendez on the bench for Siena. Siena goes on a 10-0 run to take a 61-57 advantage. And that was really the start of what was, Siena knocking down some big shots within their offensive set. This guy, Tommy Mitchell, hit some big shots during those runs for Siena.
Well, he's got 20 points. His career high is 24. He's gotten that a couple of times. And with 1:38 to go, he is well within striking distance. 21 now for the sophomore from Tyler, Texas. He averages 12.5 per game, so he is well past that. 90 seconds to go here at the Pepsi Arena. Nice look from Reeves inside to DeRozier off the up fake. Count the basket and one. That was a terrific looking sequence for the Purple Eagles. And the clock stops with 1:25 to go.
Well, Siena goes man-to-man. Niagara runs a flex offense where they have a lot of screens along the baseline and cuts to the ball side right underneath the basket. And DeRozier, solid kid we see right there, able to get some Siena defenders off their feet and finish with taking contact.
And Karangwa picks up his 4th foul. Over 6,600 here at the Pepsi this evening, including some youngsters who have probably had some time off from school. I wasn't in town, but school yesterday was out anyhow for the holiday. Were schools closed today, Tom?
Yes, they are.
So this has been a good couple of days for the kids here in the Capital District, and then they come to the Pepsi and watch the home team pick up a win, and a key win, a big win, that at the moment, if they hold on and win, would move them at very least into 4th place, into a tie with Niagara, but again, they own the tiebreaker. And then you want to keep your eye on Iona. The Gales' next game isn't until the 23rd at Marist. Oh no, check that. They're home against St. Peter's on the 21st. So Iona is home against St. Peter's on the 21st, and then at Marist on Sunday.
Well, this is a big game for a lot of reasons. Not only the standings, beating a team that you're behind in the standings. Niagara did come into this game with a game lead on Siena, or a half-game lead on Siena. They win this game, they'll win the tiebreaker, but also they had lost 2 straight in conference on their home court. And I think a lot of that can be psychological, build upon your psyche, so to speak, where they need to win at home, especially in a a closely contested MAC race.
Winding down on 1 minute to go in regulation. Prosper Karangwa trying to kill some time. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Jordan. Holly's posting. Instead, Jordan gives to Berman. Michael Berman from the free throw line missed the cylinder, and so the shot clock violation gives the ball back over to Niagara.
Well, there's still lots of time left. If Michael Berman gets a shot, you'd figure the one guy the crowd would like to see get a shot right now would be Gary Holly. Talk about guys with vertical leaps. Gary Holly's a guy that can really get off the floor.
You got that right. Karangwa tipped the ball back out. DeRozier has it for Niagara. Rossi Karen missed it. Mitchell way up there for the rebound. And so now Siena can run out the clock. Let's see if they choose to do that or look for Holly or for Berman. It looks like Mitchell's trying to get the ball to Gary Holly. Back into Holly. And the young man out of Catholic Central High School misfires with 10 seconds to go. DeRozier back the other way. His shot is good, 84-71. And now Siena will run the clock out. And the Saints come from behind and beat Niagara 84-71 in front of over 6,600 fans here at the Pepsi Arena. Tommy Mitchell led the way with 21 points and led the surge in the second half. Prosper Karangwa had 18, Antoine Jordan 15. The Saints improved to 15-9 overall, 9-6 in league play. The Purple Eagles dropped to 13-11. They see their three-game winning streak snapped, and they dropped to 9-6 as well in league play. We'll take a break and come back, or will we? We've got Coach now. We will take a break. We'll come back and have Coach Lanier with Tom Herter when we return. 84-71 your final score.
What if you could create your own primetime lineup? What if you could record all your favorite shows automatically? What if you could pause live TV when the phone rings?
Put your TV on your schedule. Automatically record shows to watch them when you want. The new digital video recorder from Time Warner Cable. Available only with Time Warner Digital Cable. Call today and connect. 1-866-321-CABLE.
Catch Saints Alive this weekend on Time Warner Cable.
Grab a pen and get to Albany Dodge because now you can sign and drive away happy. Lease a 2003 Durango with 40 to choose from for just $369 a month. Lease a roomy 2003 Caravan, 110 to choose from, $249 a month. Lease a rugged 2003 Ram Quad Cab 4x4, 100 to choose from, $339 a month. All backed with a 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain warranty. When you want selection this big, you've got to go to a dealer this big. Albany Dodge.
Welcome back, everybody. Siena beats Niagara 84-71 here at the Pepsi Arena. Standing by now, Tom Herter with the winning coach. Tom?
Rob, nice victory tonight against a Niagara team just ahead of you in the standings. Probably more importantly, you get a solid effort out of your entire team for 40 minutes, and you come away with a big victory against Niagara. What were some of the things that you think helped you in getting this win?
Well, you know what? In the first half, they outworked us, and they wanted this game more than we did. That's the way it appeared in the first half. And we challenged ourselves at halftime that it's a defining moment for us. And we showed that we had it in us to go out and do what it took and find a way to win the game. And we got confidence from doing it on the defensive end. And, we put them on the free throw line quite a bit, but they didn't score a lot of field goals in the second half. I don't know how many they scored, but we were able to defend, and we started to rebound the ball better. We gave up 14 offensive rebounds in the first half. And that's just not the sign of a team that's really hungry. And we worked so hard the 4 days leading up to this game, and these guys were letting one another down for the first 20 minutes. And they regrouped and they got it done. I'm really proud of the way we finished this game because Niagara's a good team.
Well, you mentioned the first half. In the first half, Niagara got into some foul trouble. Didn't seem like you were able to take advantage of that on the scoreboard as they went into the half up by 3. And you get some big shots in the second half, but you go on a few runs. But like you said, you did it defensively. You hold them below 40%. What are some of the things you think you did in the second half defensively, especially since the last 2 games when you gave up so many points against Marist and Ryder in the second half?
Well, we were sharper. We understood our assignments and we executed them better. Again, we worked 4 days in a row on a couple of concepts: trapping ball screens, press offense, trapping the post. And then the first 3 or 4 times they set a ball screen, one of the 2 guys who were supposed to trap forget their assignment. And that's just a matter of kids just not being sharp and being focused and being hungry and being together. And we hit them between the eyes on that at halftime, and they came out, and everything that we were supposed to do, we went out and did. We put bodies on people. We got a couple of fouls on box outs, and I'd rather get that than give up a basket on an offensive rebound. And we got tougher. We got tougher, and we got over this thing about playing at home or whatever. I mean, this is our home, man. We got to play. And we did that tonight, and we made some shots. That was key, too. When you make shots, everything looks good, and Tommy made a couple of big threes, I think really energized us, and I think he was the difference offensively for us. And when shots start going in, you become a better team.
It definitely helps. Well, you mentioned some of the missed assignments. Do you credit that possibly to some of the youthfulness of your lineup because you rely a lot on your freshmen, and as the season wears on, they're definitely maturing as far as what they can bring to you. And it seemed like from where I was sitting that you got a better effort out of Prosper Karango in the second half and a bigger second half, which helped you immensely as well.
Yeah, Prosper had a determined effort. I think the youth, as far as assignments, I think is inexcusable. I think some of the mistakes that we'll make you can attribute to some of these guys' youth, but if you're supposed to trap a ball screen, I don't care whether you're a freshman or if you're in 8th grade, you're supposed to remember to trap that ball screen. And that's something that we got to be more demanding of, and I think we addressed it effectively at halftime, and I think I don't think we got hurt by not trapping the ball screens, but I think that was symptomatic of what our mindset was, the fact that we weren't sharp in the first half, and we tightened it up and we got the job done.
With 3 games left in the schedule, is it more a matter of what you do as a team rather than who your opponent is at this stage?
Absolutely. We're going to be facing here down the stretch. But, if we don't take care of our business, we don't have a chance to win. And if we play our best, obviously, we could find ourselves in a great game where the other team comes out on top. But you always want to give yourself an opportunity. The first half, I didn't think we really gave our chance to win that first half. We gave ourselves every opportunity in the second half, got it done. And when you guard people, you take something from them. And they didn't have that confidence and that zest that they had in the first half. And I think that's what great defense will do to teams.
Well, nice victory for Siena on their home court. Now they go on the road to play a Rider team that has got some nice victories under their belt. Hopefully you can continue this trend that you had, at least in the second half defensively, and carry that into some victories back over the Doug.
All right, thank you, Tom, and thank you, Coach Lanier, for making time for us here at the Pepsi Arena after his ball club picks up the win coming from behind 84-71. The Saints were trailing at the intermission 41-38, but hot shooting in the second half. They shot 56% after the break from the floor, 7 of 12 from outside the arc, and Tommy Mitchell was the spearhead of that. He finished with 21 points, 18 for Prosper Karango, 15 for Antoine Jordan, 10 points for Austin Andrews off the bench, including a couple of big rebounds. And they are able to pick up the win, and a key win to move into a tie for 4th place with Niagara, and like we said, move into that 4th slot in the seedings because of the tiebreaker situation. So the Saints pick up the win, 84-71. One last thought from Tom before we wrap things up.
Well, I think it's a big victory for Siena because they don't lose 3 straight at home. Now, this is definitely a different team than the team that played against Mariston Rider on the home court. This is a confident team that, like Rob was saying, they're building some confidence defensively, and that's helping them offensively. I think offensively they were crisper. They really executed their game plan very well. They got the shots that they wanted to. If they can carry that into the Rider matchup, Rider's a matchup where they're very athletic from a perimeter standpoint, but they don't have a lot to contest the Siena post players. Hopefully Siena can continue just executing their game plan and carry that on to another victory. Because Rider's a team that, Siena wants some redemption. They want to go down there and beat Rider because Rider beat Siena on their home court. And, of course, every game from here on out is very important, and Siena doesn't want to drop one to a Rider team that's behind them in the standings after a big victory against a Niagara team that's ahead of them in the standings.
Siena improves to 15-9, 9-6 in league play with the win. In front of 6,647 fans here at the Pepsi Arena, the Saints come from behind and beat the Purple Eagles 84-71. For our entire crew here at the Pepsi Arena, thanks for watching. For Tom Herter, this is Doug Sherman. We'll see you next time.